Hey, Tom.
Hey, JC.
How's it going, buddy? It's so good to hear your voice in my head again.
Yeah, it's weird because it seems like I haven't talked to you in a while, but yet it seems for some reason I've talked to you very frequently today.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost
Yeah.
like this is the third time we've tried to do this tonight.
It's weird. I don't know why, but I get that same feeling.
Right? I know. Third time's the charm, they say, though.
Sure.
Right?
Who's they?
People.
Oh, I don't like to speak to people.
Yeah, not me either. That's
So
why.
I
We,
wouldn't
that's
know.
why we do a podcast.
Yeah. Where we can speak to people, but not actually speak to people.
We can speak to people, but not at people. I guess actually, technically, we're speaking at people, not to people.
I was gonna say it's vice versa. We're speaking at people,
I like that.
but not to people.
It sounds way more powerful that way too, like talking at you.
Very alpha male.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Here we go, though. It's Money in the Bank.
I am reminded that we actually have a pay-per-view on Sunday. I had totally forgotten about that until we had our rundown before the show.
So,
And you're like, we should talk about Money in the Bank. And I'm like, oh, when is that? It's like, oh, it's Sunday.
I didn't realize how close it was until last week. And I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe if I watched wrestling, I'd know.
Yeah, right. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about AEW's television deal.
On a familiar network.
Yes.
When it comes to wrestling.
You might be surprised. Click here. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. I don't know. Another thing. There's a lot going on. And
Someone
also,
died.
Someone died, and I'm kind of pissed. Tom.
And I'm not sure why, outside of the fact that it's sad that people die, but JC's been teasing this, so
Yeah.
apparently we're going to get all worked up about it.
Right.
Which I know, shocking for those of you who
Ooh.
are frequent listeners to the podcast. One of us may get worked up.
And then we're going to talk about probably at least Super Showdown for a minute, because we got some of the card before we go to Saudi Arabia.
Most of the wrestlers still alive.
For now. It's not funny.
And see, that was just meant to be an age knock and not a wrestlers die knock. But yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, and yeah, we'll talk about that, and potentially I've got some stuff in my pocket I may talk about.
Can I put my hand in your pocket and find it?
If you've got one hand in my pocket, the other one's
They want a peace sign.
Peace sign, yes.
Right. I'm glad I got that. I'm glad we had that moment right there. That made me really happy.
We all bond with the landness.
Yeah, sir. Let's bond over some wrestling. What do you say?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right, can you ring the bell for me then?
Sure enough.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 network, bringing you all the best in wrestling from WWE, New Japan, and beyond. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC.
Hello, buddies! It's the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. My name is JC. Here next to me at the commentary table to the stars is my good buddy, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
So good to be here as always, JC.
Isn't it? Man, it's nice to be back in the saddle, as they say.
I mean, it's the same thing I say each time we do this, but it's sincere. It really is.
I know. I feel the same way.
I
get very sad when life and hockey get in the way and we don't get a chance to do this.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes because it's you're working a lot. I'm doing a lot of traveling recently, and we only have like a 2-day window that we can actually do this in.
Yeah.
So if there's, let's say a hockey playoff game on one of those days that kind of is only one, and then if somebody's got a work thing come up or whatever, I mean, it just kind of skips it along the way, and it's life happens.
It is.
So,
but we're here now.
We are.
And the best part is, at least for the last 3 weeks of WWE, we hadn't missed a damn thing.
Yeah. It would have been a lot of us talking and probably getting pissed off at things and making Viking jokes, and
we'd have been like, everything is terrible. That would have been the last 3 weeks of the show.
Yeah.
Before we move on past that, the one highlight of the last 3 weeks, which we haven't talked about because it started before we went on this last break, Firefly Funhouse, Tom.
Oh, yes. My oldest son, who may be trying to listen in right now, but, too cool to listen to podcasts. He was into Bray Wyatt at one time, and he goes, well, I don't really do wrestling anymore, which is fine, whatever. I'm like, but no. You got to see what they did to Bray. And he watched like the first episode and he was just like drawn in. He's like, what are they doing? I'm like, oh, it's going to be interesting. It should be interesting. And
right.
I guess we've kind of wrapped it up or pulled our secret out this past week.
Yeah, it looks like it's on the way to being wrapped up, right? I mean, at least
I can't imagine them having another one.
No, I mean, my assumption is this is the perfect time because that way, like, that was the punctuation this week to be like, I'm coming back to the ring. Then
right.
Sunday, the pay-per-view happens, and then you reintroduce him into a storyline next week coming out of the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Are we going to see him at the pay-per-view, maybe?
I don't know where, and maybe as we go through the show, if one of us thinks of someplace, it could happen. I think it just depends on where they want to go with a feud with him.
Right.
But to me, that door's wide open. Like, it's hard to tell from the promos and all that there's a direct target at this point in time.
I mean, it's tough because he's got. It's not like it's a completely new character. That it's the past history has been referenced, not obviously, but just subtly in his promos. So it's not like it's some new character completely that we don't know the name of, and we're just going to completely ignore his past. The past is going to be there, so it's possible that something could be brought up that's been brought up before, but. I mean, we haven't done anything like that recently. I mean,
no.
Outside of he had the team with Matt Hardy, which was kind of there.
That was the last thing he did before his injury, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I mean, and that was kind of a face thing where he didn't really necessarily have a feud, I'd say, with anybody.
No.
So unless he's comes back and kind of does a feud with Matt, which I can't necessarily see. Matt's just kind of touring right now and kind of happy to be there, especially with Jeff out. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch these whole things because to me it reads as like looking inside his mind. Like right. This is how Bray perceives everything and what he does. Versus the reality of who we know who he is. So I don't know. It's super interesting, and I'm fully on board with this. It's been the only entertaining thing for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I like it too because it's creepy, but it's good actual creepy. Like I guess the third episode was the one where he like brings in the kids for the picnic.
Yeah, and they're all just sitting there staring.
Like, yeah, and he's always throwing in the all you have to do is let me in type thing. Like, it's just that kind of creepiness and like no kids smile, and it just seems like almost maybe they're abducted, in that kind of like creepiness way. And it's the thing that the character is meant to be creepy. I mean, it's this past week, it's more obvious, but I mean, it's meant to be creepy, and it's not creepy in the Vince McMahon boogeyman kind of way where, it's kind of over the top and cartoonish and that type of thing. No,
it's cerebral.
Like, no, there's actual psychological stuff going on here, which is refreshing at least.
Yeah. I wonder if him doing this versus Aleister Black doing the kind of promos he's been doing lately could be a thing. That just occurred to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, well, I mean, I just assumed that since the promos, All the promos have been on Raw, haven't they?
They've aired on both shows,
Okay.
which is why I don't know where he's gonna go.
Yeah.
My assumption would be you put that on Raw.
Wild card.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second too. That's the only other kind of big news thing we've missed, right?
Yeah.
Is that there's a wild card rule. Yeah. I just thought of that. So, an undisclosed number of Raw and SmackDown talent can go to each show each week. Okay. I mean, we all know why they're doing this, right? Like, this is a ratings ploy. You never know what's going to happen, so you're going to watch every episode. I get that. But outside of that, I'm like, okay, so what does the brand split mean?
I mean, the brand split's pretty much dead at this point. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, when they brought in the free agents and they had the free agents just kind of there, like, no real big deal was made out of. I mean, they did Superstar Shakeup and things kind of happened, but things kept happening the following weeks after the fact.
Yeah,
so
it went on for like a full 3 weeks. They kept shuffling and reshuffling.
And you had people that went to one show, and then the following week it was like, oops, my bad, you're actually on the other show for real life reasons or complaints or whatever with travel arrangements and that type of thing.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
it was it like most things that we've been seeing the last like 6 months, it seems, hasn't been all that well thought out.
No. Well, and here's my thing about all this terribleness. The road to Mania this year was good. It wasn't great, but it felt solid. And then when we got to Mania was a great Mania.
Right.
And then it's like, you don't count the week after because you know the shakeup's happening, and those are just shows that Raw and SmackDown after are shows they're putting on for the crowd that was there in Brooklyn. But then the shakeup happened, and everything just kind of went to pieces. There's no clear direction for anyone. There's no clear vision. Like I don't know. And not in a good way of like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just like, I'm starting to not care what's going to happen because it just seems like every week is just this hodgepodge of whatever strikes your fancy today. I feel like there hasn't been a clear, consistent story told yet.
No, and I mean,
even looking at the card for Money in the Bank, right? Kofi, Kevin Owens, that's a story that we've told since Mania. That's fine.
Right. Yeah.
The Joe Mysterio thing is just a rehash. Who cares?
Well, it's the match that I guess we were supposed to have before when Ray had gotten hurt for Mania.
Yeah.
So this is the match that we were supposed to have at Mania.
Yeah. Miz and Shane is a continuation. There's Becky still fighting everyone with no like heat whatsoever on either match. And then you got Seth and AJ, which just feels like it was just, oh cool, look, it's the two best wrestlers on this brand now. Let's throw them together. Go ahead and just hot shot this match.
And they've done this a couple of times in the last couple of years where they go, oh, dream match. Well, here's the story behind the dream match. Haven't you guys always wanted to see this? Here it is. And that's it.
Yeah.
God damn it, you wanted it, and now here it is.
Wild card.
Why aren't you popping?
Yeah. Anyway, let's run through the card for Money in the Bank. What do you say?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get into that. In no particular order, except for the order that Wikipedia has them listed in. Number 1, Becky Lynch defends the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. Cool.
Yeah.
She's tall and blonde. I mean, I like Lacey. She's a good wrestler. She's a serviceable wrestler. She has the potential to be good. She's still very green overall in the grand scheme of things, right? I like her. But whatever they've been doing to her on the main roster since her 2 months of let me walk out and then walk back to this, it's just, and then I just keep thinking back to not last week, or not this past Monday, but the Monday before, the awful vignette of her like leaving cobbler scented invitations to Naomi and Natty to watch their match. And I'm like, I get it. She's from the South. Cool. Like, they're just destroying that character. And that character's such a derivation, or that's not the word I wanted to use, but it's so different than the character she had in NXT that I just hate it. She's not the kick-ass pinup girl anymore. She's now the sassy Southern Belle or whatever they're calling it.
Right. I mean,
it just doesn't. It's a totally different character.
I mean, that was the thing. If you watched NXT like, say, last year, and then kind of walked away from the product, and then came back and you heard, oh, Lacey Evans is in WWE now, and be like, cool, and then you'd see her and you'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, isn't she supposed to be like female Captain America?
Right. Not I walk out in a giant hat.
And I'm going to show you, mean girl, because I like to make pie.
The women's right. If there's one match Becky wins, it's this one.
Yeah.
So
I could see it going relatively quick too. If
I hope so.
Becky's gonna go wrestle 2 matches, maybe have this one kind of, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to squash her though.
No, you can't squash her, right? But I think she has to be on top through nefarious means, obviously. You can't let her get a clean whooping on Becky.
Yeah, I mean, maybe something kind of out of nowhere where it's, foreign object or something
an
like
RKO.
that. Yes.
Randy Orton just runs in and RKO's Becky with the... That'd be a turn of events. I'd be fully invested in this again. Like, oh, snap. Where's this going?
Randy just starts attacking women for no particular reason.
He goes full Jeff Jarrett. He then has a good housekeeping match against Finn Balor.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Okay. Seth Rollins defends the Universal title against AJ Styles. Yes, we put their names back to back because they're in a relationship, and the internet lost their minds over that this week.
Yeah, I mean,
good for them. I don't care.
I've heard stuff to this effect for, several months now. I thought.
Well, they both confirmed it,
right. No,
and then WWE.com wrote an article about it.
Yeah. No, I saw the thing where.
Oh no! You know what that means? Becky absolutely wins against Lacey Evans, and she loses to Charlotte because she's got to stay on Raw to travel with Seth.
Sure.
If we moved everyone else around in the shakeup to stay with their significant other, it's happening here.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shuffled Andrade around 15 times because of Charlotte, so...
Wild card!
They're
That's
just
the solution to everything.
Just when something doesn't make sense, just yell wild card. You go, okay. But anyway, Seth and AJ. Hot-shotted. For no reason. AJ just wants the belt. I'm all for a feud where it's like, I just want to be champion. And the other guy's like, all right, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
But I feel like this deserved more.
It'll be a good match that could have been a great match, but since there'll be minimal psychology to it, it'll just be good.
They're going to put all the psychology into it they can, but they've
right,
got nothing. Yeah, I know what you mean. They they don't have a psychology from a storyline around it to build into the match.
It's tough when you're not doing a New Japan or something like that, where you kind of have the ability to drop 45 minutes to tell a story.
Right.
They're not going to have that, so you kind of need the story going into the match, and they don't necessarily have that either. So.
Yeah. This is a 10-match card. They're getting 20 minutes.
Yeah. And you'll like it.
Yeah, it'll be great. Let's see Cody and the Young Bucks do this. Either that or Vince gives Seth and AJ 50 minutes because he's like, screw AEW. Who wins?
Seth's retaining.
Yeah. I feel very much the same way, which would be good because that could push AJ heel, and we could keep it going because he's leaning that way, but he hasn't fully committed yet. So I'm fine if this feud keeps going. I'm good with it. It's Seth and AJ. It's the two best wrestlers in the company.
Yeah,
I'm fine with this.
If we can actually tell a story to it, it will be fun.
Yeah,
so.
that'd be great. Even though, let's see. Yeah, neither until they're both in the 50-man battle royal in Saudi Arabia.
Won by a random sumo guy that we're gonna call Yokozuna too.
That's what I was gonna say. Yokozuna wins, and it was like, isn't he dead? They're like, no, Prince, he's not. You asked for him; he's still alive.
No, Your Highness. He came back for you.
It's just Rikishi holding his eyes behind his head. even though Yokozuna wasn't even.
Holy crap! It's Bruiser Brody.
It's the entire Von Erich family.
Oh God, are they gonna get Kevin's sons?
Oh
what?
Yeah,
it's Von Erich's.
That'd be funny. I'd be down with that.
They make me uncomfortable, and I'll get into that later.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, everything about them makes everyone uncomfortable, I think. The Money in the Bank men's match. Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, Randy Orton. One of these things is not like the other.
The guy wrestling in a button-up shirt?
Oh. Two of these things are not like the others.
Oh.
I was just thinking about Randy. I totally said Baron Corbin and already forgot I said it. Because yawn.
Randy's gonna do his spots.
Randy's hitting an RKO when somebody jumps off a ladder.
Yeah.
There's your RKO out of nowhere. Somebody jumps off a ladder, Randy catches him in midair, hits the RKO.
It's gonna be Ricochet.
Book it. Oh, no.
You got Ali. It could be Ali.
There we go. It's fine. So, using my typical Money in the Bank logic here, this is a heel gimmick. So, your winner is either Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, or Andrade.
Right.
Cool. Give it to Sammy. I pick Sammy.
I'd love to see it with Sammy because he'd be so freaking annoying with it.
I mean, Andrade would be cool having it too. With Zelina Vega carrying it for him all the time.
I could easily see him with it.
Oh, that'd be great. Because he has world champion potential, right? He has the look. He can work his butt off. He's got an amazing mouthpiece next to him. He can talk fine too. Like, that'd be great. I'd be down for the summer of El Idolo.
Yeah. I don't think McIntyre needs it.
No.
McIntyre's just badass as he is.
Yeah.
And
McIntyre's believable enough. He can get the belt whenever he wants it. So.
He doesn't need the gimmick. He doesn't need the cowardly. I mean, because that's what it is. Like you said, it's a heel gimmick. It's a cowardly gimmick.
Right.
Where somebody's going to run in, when potentially the champion is half dead and cash in.
Yeah.
You're not going to see McIntyre go, oh, here's my opportunity. He's going to be like, no, I want. Yeah. And that's why, or, one of the numerous reasons it didn't work on Strowman. Because Strowman just had the title, and they're like, "Oh, well, don't you want to take advantage of it now?" No, I want him to be fully healthy so that I can wrestle him. It's
Yeah.
like,
It just doesn't work with a babyface. With the right
No.
babyface, it can. Like, if this were around when Stone Cold was around and you had the tweener babyface Stone Cold, or The Rock, or, well, Hunter was always heel, basically. But could you imagine Stone Cold with that briefcase?
But I mean, even things like
He never would have done it.
like Santino Marella as a face to have the briefcase with him. I don't think he ever had it, but like to have him like carry the briefcase around, he would be the ideal person to just run in last minute. Even as a face,
Yeah.
it would still work because that's his personality.
Ziggler was heel when he cashed in, right? On ADR.
No, because he cashed in against.
He cashed in against Del Rio,
Yeah.
but it was when he was with Big E and AJ Lee, so I couldn't remember where they were in their plotline. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It all blends
Yeah.
together. Remember Dolph Ziggler?
Remember Dolph Ziggler? Remember old Ramen Head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be in the 50-man battle royal and Super Showdown. As he gets eliminated by Silver King.
Hey.
Too soon. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella. Give it to Dana Brooke at all costs.
I love Dana Brooke. I've been a big Dana Brooke fan for a while.
They've been slowly kind of rebuilding her too, so I'm like, I like this. They're giving her an edge. She still can't talk worth a damn.
No.
But at least what they're writing for her to say is good. For once, it's not the delivery, it's the writing that's good.
And I think she seems like somebody who could stick around for a while just in general because people seem to like her.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen her do backstage stuff and like she did. Remember when WWE came out with a couple of like stupid little one-shot programs that were like pilots that didn't go anywhere, and there was like a cooking show.
Yeah.
She was on the cooking show, and she was great in it, like with her personality and things like that.
She's
so
a super likable human being.
Yeah.
And I I think she's
still green as goose shit, but
yeah. But she's one of, and we're seeing this still to this day, one of the NXT people that just got brought up in a terrible moment where they didn't really have any idea what to do with them, and then they just kind of floundered.
What happened was they brought her up because she had the great team with
Emma.
Yeah. Because she was Emma's muscle, and it just worked out well. And they were the two mean girls, and it worked. Because I remember when Asuka first came, and that was...
You're right.
That was like Asuka's first target. But then they brought her up to... The two of them up to the main roster, then Emma got hurt.
Mm-hmm. And then they never put them back together because they went with the Emelina thing.
Well, the thing is, too, Dana got packaged with Charlotte.
That's right. So she just got overshadowed. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So they just kind of stuck her with that, and like Charlotte would treat her like crap, and they never gave her anything. They never gave her a comeuppance. They never
There's no
payoff. No revenge. It was just exactly. There was no payoff to it. She just got sent to like main event and that type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Give it to Dana. I'm all for the wild card chaos squad. Oh yeah, because I guess whoever wins this is like a permanent wild card, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now that does make things interesting with the wild card.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns takes on Elias.
I'm just picturing somebody with the briefcase, like getting ready to come out, like, I'm going to do my challenge. And they're like, no. We've had 3 people come out already.
Wherever
I'm sorry. There's no more left for today.
Yeah. You have to wait till next week. Get here earlier.
Yeah.
They just have in Gorilla, there's one of those things like at a deli where you take a number. But there's only 4 tickets in there.
It's the NBA draft ping pong ball lottery. These 3 people are allowed to come on as wild cards.
Anything to watch a New York sports fan cry, though.
Yeah. I don't like the Knicks, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wasn't upset about it. Saying it. Roman Reigns versus Elias is a match.
Yep. Sure is. Elias is going to sing a song, and Roman's going to
destroy him.
Yeah.
Can we do something with Roman?
Nope.
Like, God. It's so frustrating. Because he comes back and, like, I mean, they screwed him up out of the gate, right? Putting him with Drew. But he obviously didn't want to hotshot him to a title. But he fights Drew, beats Drew, the end. Now he's just fighting Elias. Like, where is Roman Reigns going? With all the goodwill and all the energy he had coming back, I just feel like it's gone. Now he's just Roman again.
And that's hard to screw up.
Oh, and they did. Again, they never should have announced him returning. He never should have come out and cut a promo like, I'm good to come back. He should have just shown up. But I digress. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Roman Reigns wins. Cool.
Well, the thing with Roman, too, I think, is like you said, he should have just eventually worked his way back. And I don't know if he wanted to have the kind of slow montage, or it just kind of comes out of nowhere. But he's now just become the guy with cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we have toned that down now, right? Like, that was a lot of the jabs Drew was making at him. I don't think Elias has brought it up once. I think we're moving past that, right? As a storyline piece.
Yeah, because I just pictured it being the Party of 5 Charlie character that every week we'd see him come out and struggle a little bit, like, but I had cancer.
Yeah. Ugh. Roman would have been the perfect person to win Money in the Bank this year. He's a believable babyface that would have just cashed it in whenever he wanted.
But again, the fun of Money in the Bank is ruined when you have somebody who's, God damn it, I'm a true babyface. I don't want to take advantage of.
Right. But they could book Roman to be just, I'm going to cash it in. And everyone would love it. But the question is, would they do it that way, right? Would they handle Roman Reigns correctly?
Right.
History would say no.
No.
Becky Lynch defends the SmackDown title against Charlotte. Charlotte wins.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we can't do Becky 2 belts forever, can we?
No, it's holding up too much of both shows. Like, now's the time. Yeah, we had a month of it. It was great. Let's move on.
Especially if you're still doing 2 belts. It'd be one thing if they took both belts and be like, we're making, I've unified the titles, so it's just one.
Yeah, we're unifying and all the women are on Raw now. Come on. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Wild card.
Wow. Yeah, Charlotte wins. And then, I don't know who she feuds against. Ember?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe.
We'll see.
It's time for Ember to get a little bit of time. I mean, she's back. She's healthy.
Yeah. She's great. She's a wolf, I think. Right?
I don't know. She's been bitten by something.
The Miz gets his rematch against Shane McMahon inside a steel cage.
Yep. Sure is.
Yeah, I mean, cool. They still hate each other. They just keep attacking each other. It'll be fun. It's two guys who really don't care about their own bodies and are going to put on a good show. So it's going to be an entertaining match.
Oh yeah.
So
I just need Shane to be done.
no. You realize this is going to culminate in like a Hell in a Cell in Saudi Arabia or something, right?
I could make a joke somewhere in there, and I'm not.
I was putting it on the tee for you, man. Kofi Kingston defends the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens. Which, this has been a fun build. I mean, you have Kevin join the New Day, which we all loved, and immediately knew, all right, we see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And they did the smart thing. They didn't have him turn in Montreal.
Right.
They waited a week and did it then. And then instant built-in storyline. He wants the title. He's Kevin Owens. He just wants to beat Kofi's ass to take the title. Because all he cares about, he's a prize fighter. This is actually a good story, and a match I'm looking forward to. It's simple. It's easy. Kevin's beating up all his friends. It's great.
Yeah, it's not hard to do plotline sometimes.
No.
It's really not.
No. But Kevin has a clear the thing with this one, Kevin has a clear destination, and it's what every character in the show's destination should be. I want to be champion. And if you are the champion, I want to still be champion.
Yep.
That's it. That's the story. And then you just figure out how each of them work their way there. So this is perfect. Kevin weasels his way into the New Day. He turns on Kofi. Boom, he gets his title shot. It's perfect. With his sniveling Sami Zayn by his side.
Yeah.
Does Kofi retain?
I think Kofi's still going to hold on to her for a little bit. They're waiting for... I think he's probably going to hold on to it till maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah, so they announced this week they're going to Ghana. And I don't think he drops that belt before they go to Ghana, right?
No.
Oh, I'm looking up what they're going.
I mean, hometown things are bad enough as it is with WWE, but come on.
So they're going to Ghana from May 30th to June 2nd. So he absolutely retains.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the U.S. Championship. We lightly touched on this. But why is Dominic in a story again?
Because it's fun to look at Rey Mysterio's son being giant.
It's Vince like, God damn it, this is funny.
He's a little guy, but he's the dad.
One of these things is not like the other.
That one's like Rey Mysterio Jr. But wait, he's Rey Mysterio Jr. So where's Rey Mysterio Sr.? Where's his dad?
You're Junior.
But Vince, Rey Mysterio Sr. is actually Rey's uncle.
Right.
No. No.
That doesn't make sense. It's got to be his dad. He had to put his seed in his mom.
Maybe they can have a match where Ray Sr., if he loses, he'll be his dad.
Joe will win the title and custody of Dominic.
And the Mysterio name.
Get me Russo. Get me Russo on the phone. We've got to put Dominic on a pole.
He becomes Joe Mysterio.
Okay, I'm on board with this now. I'm 100%. I'm here for this. I feel like, you know that the meme that's been populated about nobody and then like whatever with a gif?
Yeah.
I feel like that's every Vince McMahon comment. Nobody. Vince McMahon, write anything he says after it and it works.
Burritos wrap.
Where's my ketchup? Tony Nese defends the Cruiserweight Championship against Arya Daivari on the main card.
We think so.
Hashtag for now.
I like Tony Nese.
Yeah, keep it on Tony
That's all
Nese.
I've got to say.
Yeah. And on the pre-show, the Planet Warriors, or Defenders, I can't remember their name now.
The captains of the planet.
They're our heroes. Defend the SmackDown tag match. Nope. Yeah, they defend the titles. Yeah, against the Usos.
See, it doesn't say it, though. It just says tag team match. It does not say for the...
Oh, no, it does say non-title match. Why? Why is it... Jesus Christ. All right. So...
Because it shouldn't be. You have to earn a title shot.
Yep, so the Usos win, and then Tuesday night, it's for the titles. Done. Book 'em, Dano.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe. Wild card.
Wild card. If a tag team goes through the wild card, does that count as one person or two?
I don't know. We've had this discussion during the Superstar Shakeup drafts. So.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the pay-per-view after this. We have 3 matches announced. From the beautiful kingdom of Saudi Arabia, or whatever it is. Whatever. The
Blood Money 2.
Super Showdown. Blood Money in the Bank. It's in the same month as Money in the Bank. Oh, no, it's right after. Never mind. From the King Abdullah International Stadium in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Here are the matches announced. We have a 50-man battle royal.
Featuring people you've never heard of before. People you thought you'd never hear from again.
Duggan. Duggan will be in this battle royal. Write it down. Quick question, though. What mythical injury does Sami Zayn get this time?
Yeah.
Since he can't go.
I don't know how they're going to spin that.
Yeah, because wasn't it vertigo last time? And he came out complaining about his vertigo. Or I guess that was during the first one. That was during Greatest Royal Rumble. Because he was hurt during Blood Money 1. Crown Jewel.
Sami Zayn wins Money in the Bank, and they don't let him on the plane because he will not relinquish the Money in the Bank suitcase as a second carry-on.
I like that. And that works. It's such a sniveling heel thing, too. Love it.
I'm not letting this out of my sight. I'm not checking it.
There's a great vignette there, too. So it can happen. Triple H takes on Randy Orton because, okay.
What?
Because it's 2003 again.
Evolution.
When you go to Saudi Arabia, it's like going through a time machine for so many reasons.
It just reminds me of the How I Met Your Mother episode where they reveal Robin has the music career and they're dancing around in like acid wash jeans and stuff, and they're like, wait, I thought, it seems very 80s, but I thought you said this video took place in like 1994. She's like, yeah, well, the 80s came to Canada a little bit later. So that's what it is. The Attitude Era came to Saudi Arabia just a little bit later.
So Triple H fought Batista at Mania. He's fighting Randy in Saudi Arabia. We have to complete the trilogy here. When does Hunter fight Rick? And where do I get front row tickets?
At Blood Money 3?
Oh yeah,
we've got a bunch of these to fill out.
Well, there's 2 a year, so they'll be back they'll go back in November. That seems to be the pattern. Is right after Mania and then November. Because it seems to coincide right around the Euro trip. Within that month. And then, in what I assume is the main event of this show, The Undertaker's back. Because Mark is a money mark.
Oh, yeah.
And he takes on another money mark, Goldberg. I have to watch this match happen in real time, Tom.
I don't know what to say.
It's going to be tragic and amazing. One day, tape traders will be like, "It doesn't exist," and then they'll do a special on the WWE Network and be like, "Yeah, it does. We got it." It's going to be just awful. To see Goldberg try to jackhammer Undertaker is going to be hilarious. Yeah, now you're picturing it. You're like, oh boy. All right, so that's that. Moving on, because boy, we've talked for way longer than I thought we would already.
Oh, we knew it was going to happen.
It always happens.
Yeah.
Warner Media had their upfront today, which is, of course, when all the TV networks and executives present their slate of shows for the next year to advertisers and the media. And it's become a fan thing, too, now. See when your favorite shows are returning and what's new.
Yep.
Of course, the big announcement pertaining to this show is that beginning in the fall on TNT, AEW will be live. Is it live? I don't know. Let me read this article. But yeah, the Monday Night Wars are back, baby. Warner Media versus WWE.
Not necessarily that it'll be on Monday, but you know.
No, that's why I'm looking to see if I don't think they've announced the day yet, but I'm looking to see. In this article from the New York Post website, which I think is trying to eat my computer alive. Fill the time, Tom. I'm reading.
No, I don't think there was anything specific announced about it. That it's just they were bringing it in. Generally, in upfronts like this, when networks announce the shows that are coming in, they don't have a set exact time. They don't have a schedule set up yet. They're just going, hey, these are the shows that are coming back. These are the new shows that we're going to have. Here are some of the stars of the new shows. Cut promos, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what AEW did. They're just like, hey, we're going to have another wrestling show, and it's going to be these guys that you know from Hot Topic. And yeah, that was it. I mean, and
we know they're not dumb enough to run on Mondays or Fridays.
Right.
Like, they're just not going to. Because that's a death. It doesn't set them up for success. The rumor, according to this article, is Tuesday.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. That's what I had heard. There was some trademark filing for Tuesday.
Yeah. It also appears that BR Digital, or BR Live, Bleacher Report, which is owned by Warner Media, will be the exclusive digital streaming partner for Double or Nothing next weekend. Memorial Day weekend. From the Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
For a $50 it is.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Go for it.
I don't want to discount anything they're doing. But $50?
I mean, 5 years ago, yeah.
Are you saying it's too low?
No, I'm saying like 5 years ago when people paid $50, $60 for a pay-per-view, yeah.
Right.
But
I could see them charging $20 and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
$30 I could be okay with.
And that's 50. What a lot of this, I was going to say, you actually purchase streaming products, you know, of like Progress and things like that, where
yeah,
they're charging anywhere from, you know, $10 to $25 depending on the show.
Well, and I bought a bunch of the stuff over Mania weekend that was on Fight, right?
Right.
I didn't buy any of the packages, but I think for each of the spring breaks, which are the two I wanted to see, I think they were $15 a piece. Yeah, that's a totally different kind of show than what this is, which is why I'm like, all right, 25 or 30, fine. 50 just seems really, really steep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know where they're you know, there's a lot of fancy business math behind that.
I mean, they've already sold the building.
Yeah. Here's my issue too, right? With it being $50. AEW is a brand that's catering to the hardcore wrestling fan. the hardcore wrestling fan is very tuned into the internet. And unless they're like, I'm just going to stick it to WWE and give them $50, they're going to find it streaming online.
Yeah.
For free, illegally. If you price it at 20, 25, 30, more people are going to buy it. I think you look at, it's the volume that you're going to make at that price point is better. And I also think you're definitely more likely to get more casual viewers or people who may, not be to the level we are as fans, but aren't just, I watches WWE kind of fans,
Yeah. I mean, it's not to get all software geek on you or anything, but it's like what Adobe and Microsoft learned in regards to Microsoft Office and Adobe Acrobat, Photoshop, things like that.
Provided as a service, not an application.
That those software packages were, I mean, something like Photoshop was $800. Mm-hmm. Nobody's paying, outside of a major company, no one's paying $800 for a piece of software because you can't afford to pay $800 for software. You'll find a cheaper alternative or you'll pirate it. Yep. And Adobe fought hard to fight pirating, and trust me, I dealt with years and years of having to jump through so many hoops for Adobe and licensing and all that type of thing. And until they finally realized, you know what, we're going to do this as like a subscription service. And instead of charging $800 up front, we're going to charge somebody $20 a month.
Yep.
And to have access to the program. And if they don't pay the $20 a month, well, you don't have access to it anymore. Oh, you need it back? Okay, keep paying the $20 a month.
Yep.
And they're making money again.
Yeah.
And I mean, essentially, that's what WWE did with the network is instead of going to the $50, $60 pay-per-views, they went to the $9.99 network and said, hey, instead of picking and choosing 4 pay-per-views, how about for $9.99 a month, you watch all the pay-per-views? Yep. People are like, well, $10 a month? That's not too bad. I can do $10 a month.
For the cost of the 2 you would have bought, now you got all 12 and more, Yeah. So that's AEW. More news to come, I'm sure. Especially with Double or Nothing being in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. Quickly, let's hit on Silver King.
Okay.
Because I got to get this off my chest. So, Tom, you said you didn't see the video, right?
I saw no video. I know that it happened. I was a fan of Silver King. Kind of discovered him in WCW when all the luchadors came in for no particular reason except to job to the other cruiserweights that the WCW had. But Silver King seemed to be one, he was a hell of a wrestler, but 2, he actually had personality, and he was one of the few that didn't have a mask. Although he ended up wrestling in a mask later on and pissed off Mexican authorities with that. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed his work, and when I saw that he had passed, I was like, oh man, that's horrible, and a heart attack or some kind of issue. Like, oh, that's horrible, and that's all I knew. I went, oh man, that sucks. Moving on. Apparently, there's more to the story.
Then you went to my Twitter. So here's the deal. And I watched this video. I watched it once. And it's only graphic in the sense that, somebody died in it. There's no blood gore kind of graphic to it. I'm obviously not encouraging you to go seek it out because it's a snuff film, in essence. So, it's Silver King and Hoovy and a ref in the ring. And the match is going on as planned. There's some spot I can't remember off the top of my head because I watched this very late at night the night it happened. Silver King makes the pin. Hoovy kicks out, and Silver King never gets back up. You could tell something was wrong right away because of the kind of the posture that Silver King was in. To me, it looked at first like he was trying to get up and something was desperately wrong. You could see one of his legs almost kind of twitching in the back. Like something is And of course, this is easy to say in retrospect, knowing the situation.
Right.
Something is not right. I have to think Hoovy also knows something is not right. Hoovy gets up, starts gesturing to the crowd because he's a good heel. The referee goes over to Silver King, looks like he talks to him, and then just kind of stands there and stares. Hoovy goes to try to make the pin. You can tell he's trying to roll over dead weight. You can kind of tell he knows something is wrong.
Right.
Makes the pin, 1, 2, 3. They're in the slowest 3 count I've ever seen. They get up there with Hoovie's hand. He poses around the ring, gets out. There is still no medical staff anywhere.
Oof.
Silver King lays in this ring. It had to be, and I could be greatly overestimating, it has to be 2 or 3 minutes before anyone comes out. The referee doesn't throw up an X. Nothing. And then, like, a couple of the wrestlers come out from the back. You can tell they immediately know the worst has happened. Then the medics come out. And then it takes them like another 10 minutes to get him out of the ring. As a referee, and this is a statement on the business as a whole. Referees need to be trained in advanced life support and should have the common sense to know when something like that is happening. Not that, if he had there's still no announced cause of death, right? If he has a massive coronary here, like he's done. There's nothing they could have done, right? As having watched it, that appears to be the case. I think, though, it's on the referee, and a little bit of blame to Juventud too. I mean, he's got to keep the show going. I understand that. I sympathize with that because that's the hardest position to be in.
Right.
I've got to keep doing my job, and I think this guy might be dead. Holy crap. The referee's got to know what's going on. He's got to throw up an X. He's got to get medics out there. There should always be medics at ringside, at least one doctor. Very much in the way WWE does it. The whole situation just reads as tragic because there should have been, even if they do the pin, the minute that was over, somebody in the back should have known, and there should have been medics out there immediately.
Right. The
whole thing just felt and reeked of just carny bullcrap to me. And I hate it. Because, I'm not familiar with Super King. I don't, But he's still a professional wrestler, and this is the sport I love. And he died doing the thing that I love watching people do. And that gets me on just every level. And the fact that he goes out there expecting to just go to work and go home. Like he's done thousands of times.
Right.
And granted, not that anything in this match or anything, it could have been a pre-existing heart condition. Not that anything would have saved this moment from happening. But there have to be the procedures and the standards in place at every promotion, at every level, in every country, to know that these guys, someone has their backs.
And I mean, maybe this helps out to the point where we start to get some kind of regulations, but that's the issue, that there is no regulation. Right. And I mean, it's performance art. It's not sports. So, the commissions are never going to step in. I mean, the commissions are still heavily involved, I know, in New York. But I look at that and you say, well, maybe this starts to change things. Let's think back. I guess it was 2 years ago at this point, when Elijo Del Perro passed away. They cart him off on a piece of plywood. Yeah. Like at that moment there, and of course that's, that was a freak accident and a freak whiplash injury. But I hate it. I feel like there's got to be some kind of consortium of promoters that comes together and goes, we can't do this. This is how it needs to be done. And boys and girls, these are the promotions that are going to have your back. You work anywhere else, you're working on your own risk. But these are the ones that are committing to doing this right to protect you. Would it be that hard for WWE in the position they're in to be like, hey, every promotion in the world, here's a way to do this. Sign on. And promote that you're part of this to every worker in the world.
and promote that you're going to hold yourself to these standards.
Yeah, it's tragic and it sucks, and you can only really hope that something positive comes out of this, whether it be some kind of regulation or at least it gets more promotions using ringside doctors, or just have a defibrillator at ringside.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just have promotions say, hey, we're going to, a lot of these small promotions too, like there's not an EMT waiting. You have that at a high school basketball game, right?
Right, but I mean, like, even that, like, yes, I mean, it's a physical event where you should have an EMT, on site. But even without that, just to have a defibrillator, most buildings, at least in America now, office buildings, things like that, have a defibrillator. If you've ever actually popped a defibrillator or open, it's the simplest thing in the world to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it actually, like most of these new ones, like it literally tells you, like, a voice comes on and goes, apply this here, push this button, stand back, 3, 2, 1. Okay, dude. You don't have to be trained. You just need to know how to read for the most part and pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you could potentially save someone's life. I mean, again, if it was a cardiac incident that happened, then potentially you could save. It's not going to save every life. I mean, right. CPR is not going to save every life. An EMT on site isn't going to save every life.
Exactly.
But it's going to do better than nothing.
Right. Like I said, by the looks of it, he was probably done, for lack of a better word, I apologize, the minute he hit the mat.
Right.
But there have to be the protections in place for the times that that's not the case. And I think referees should all be trained in CPR. Yeah. Like, again, there's no way to hold every referee and every promotion in the world accountable to this, but I think it's on WWE, AEW, New Japan, All Japan, AAA, CMLL to come together and be like, look, we're putting together this list of, like, this is how you should do it. This is how we do it. Now, try to live up to these standards to protect the people that are making you money. And I realize that's a hard thing for WWE to do. But I don't know. That's my statement on it. It just disgusted me.
Yeah.
Again. Anyway. So that's our show. So hell of a way to wrap up.
I'm just gonna stick something quick in.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Speaking of death, if you haven't been watching Dark Side of the Ring, which is on Vice, and I think there's a couple of episodes available for free, but outside of that, I mean, you get access to it one way or another. But I've seen the first 5 episodes. The 6th one, I guess, is showing as we're recording this on the Fabulous Moolah, which that's an interesting story in itself and probably a lot darker than anybody wants you to know about.
Just ask Snickers.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Bruiser Brody one, I know that story.
That one made me so angry.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he had been murdered in Puerto Rico. Like, I knew that much of the story, right?
Right.
I'd never kind of dove into it deeper than that.
Yeah.
I was so freaking mad.
No, I was so
livid.
It makes me mad every time I hear the story because I've heard it so many times.
Especially to see Cologne put on the pedestal he's on.
Yeah.
These days. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, and just the two-facedness of him, and just to do what they did to Jose Gonzalez, and just but I mean, there's that one. there's the Von Erich one, which was a lot more, I'll say, positive spin than I expected.
See, I haven't watched that one yet. I'm afraid to.
It's sad if you know the story. I mean, in general, going in, it's going to be sad. There's a lot of Kevin Von Erich in it as the sole surviving Von Erich, boy of that group. Boy, he's not a boy.
No.
He seems like he's like 80 years old at this point, but he's not.
I will say right now, though, Tom, and I want to do this. On eBay for $42, we can buy the official Von Erich family board game.
I remember that being advertised in several wrestling magazines.
I want to buy it and play it so bad.
But it's a lot of from Kevin's perspective. And Kevin, to this point, is still very defensive of his father. Whereas I blame Fritz a lot more for these boys' death. Especially people like Mike, who never necessarily wanted to be a wrestler in the first place, but got pushed into the business, into the wrestling business.
Because damn it, you're a Von Erich.
To replace David.
Right. When
David died, they wanted that trio. So they stuck Mike in there, and Mike was, people have said that Mike just wanted to be a cameraman. He enjoyed the business to an extent, but he didn't necessarily fancy himself as a wrestler, but he was fine. And then you bring Chris into the mix, who was just a tragic figure of his own, because Chris was the one who wanted to be a wrestler, but was not he rolled low on every genetic characteristic that you could have possibly put together on him.
Right.
So he was never going to be a wrestler due to just his size and the fact that he had asthma and the whole thing. The Gino Hernandez one, which was last week, I enjoyed just because I never really got to see that much of Gino. I started to get into wrestling shortly before Gino died. So I remember one of the first wrestling magazines I picked up was like talking about the Gino Hernandez Chris Adams feud, where Chris Adams got blinded, and then like it was in an aftermag, and they used to have the headlines like at the back, which were like, kind of like the breaking news type thing. And it was like, oh, by the way, Gino Hernandez is dead. Like, oh, okay, well, that kind of ruins that angle.
Okay.
But just to see like people speak positively of him, and you could tell that Gino had this charisma to him. He was a hell of a talker. He had a good look. He had, he pretty much had the full package, that if he hadn't been hanging with the crowd that he was with, whether it be due to murder, which was a question that was brought up in the special, which, you watch, or just due to the fact that he was an 80s person that loved to party. So he had like way too much cocaine in his system on a regular basis. But
yeah, it's a great series.
Yeah,
watch it.
It's definitely worth checking out. Check out all of them. Some are better than others, but all of them are pretty well done. And it's weird to hear Dutch Mantel do voiceover work.
Right.
Except for the Bruiser Brody one, which, since Dutch was pretty much being interviewed for that, they had Mick Foley do the...
Yeah. It's well done. I hope they keep it going after the season.
Yeah,
I think they will. It's been a ratings hit for them. So
yeah. I'm curious to see what other stories they could do, though, because, these are the main big stories that I think they could approach. But,
yeah,
I guess you get into Benoit.
You do Benoit. You have to do Owen.
Yeah. You don't have to do Owen, do you?
Yeah. It fits into this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But I don't know how much participation you'd get. I don't know
from anyone. It's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brett doesn't want Brett and that side of the family doesn't want to deal with it, and
Martha sure as
Owen-
hell ain't saying anything.
no. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Watch
it's definitely worth a watch.
For sure. Well, Tom, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
Go on the Twitter machine at Mr. Workrate at MR Workrate. Follow me on Untapped, where you can see my reviews of Natter Days and the Bud Light lemon tea version that I picked up today.
Tom clearly planned the Untapped Festival in Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all on him.
the lemon tea is actually pretty good. I don't know why,
Let's
but
try it. I like lemon and I like tea.
yeah, I mean it's weird because the Natter Days, I mean, neither one of them tastes like beer. I'll just
That's
be
disturbing.
flat out and say that. The Natter Days kind of has like a little bit of a beer aftertaste, but I mean, like it's
Yeah.
it's
is
one of
what it
those
is.
alternative beverages that your 16-year-old kids are gonna love.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Um,
It's Jewel, but in alcohol form.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can find me on the internet at JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT, wherever finer social medias pervade. You can find the show on Twitter at CheatersNVRPin. You can find us on Instagram at CheatersNeverPin. And you can find us on Facebook at CheatersNeverPin. Give us a big blue thumbs up and show us how much you like us. There we go. Got 'em.
Yeah,
So next week, we'll talk about Money in the Bank.
we will.
Next week, I think we'll maybe have both finally watched the Bret Hart Tom McGee match.
Yeah, that
We'll definitely touch on that next week.
yeah. Been meaning to do that
Yeah.
because it's been that holy grail, and
And it's here.
now it's available, and we're just like,
Is that
forget
weird?
it.
Yeah. Now it's like, I don't care about watching it. It's there.
I
So
was
yeah.
excited to see a picture of it. I was just like, oh crap, it's actually happening.
Well, then we got the GIF. Whew. Whew boy.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
Yeah.
So all that and more next week on the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. So thanks for joining us yet again for another fun week of wrestling. I'm JC,
I'm Tom.
and we'll catch you on the flip side.